Jack Morgan's Thursday began with juice on his shirt and so he thawed it with mop water under the fridge. At 38, the widowed father could handle 6th grade science students, but raising 8-year-old Emma alone left him repeatedly outgunned. At 6 p.m. the house finally hushed. Emma colored planets at the kitchen table while Grace and Oil, their quiet new maid, wiped counters in near silence. Jack, stacking quizzes to grade, noticed something odd. Every week Grace vanished the instant the clock struck 7, refusing offers of a ride across rainy Vancouver suburbs. Tonight the forecasts warned of a squall, yet she tugged on her thin cotton coat, banked them softly, and slipped into darkness. A pang of worry and, he admitted, curiosity needled Jack. On impulse he tossed his jacket over the juice stain, told Emma he'd be 20 minutes, and followed Grace's silhouette down the street. 2A sensed the tale. She cut through alleys slick with autumn leaves, boarded a half-empty bus, and rode to the city's industrial fringe. Jack, 2 rows behind, rehearsed explanations if she caught him, just wanted to be sure your Safia broken bar didn't mean to pry. 20 minutes later she stepped off beside the Bayside Motel, a peeling 2-story heap hugging Highway 99, flickering neon read V_C_NC. Jack's heart hammered. Why would a soft-spoken maid visit a budget motel after dark? He ducked behind the vending machine as Grace skirted puddles toward the rear parking lot, not to a room entrance, but to the trash area. There, under the glow of a broken street lamp, she knelt by a dented service door and tapped 4 steady knocks. The door inched open. 2 gangly teenagers peeked out, eyes wary until they saw her face. They beamed, ushering her inside. Jack swallowed. Who were these kids? Drugs? Trafficking? Instinct screamed to intervene, yet the teens' expressions held no fear, only relief. Something more complicated was unfolding. Jack edged closer and peered through a cracked window. 3A Sense Revelation Number 1. An unused storage room had been transformed. Sleeping bags lined the floor, plastic crates overflowed with canned soup, socks, comic books. In the center, Grace unpacked her nylon tote, peanut butter sandwiches, fresh fruit, cough syrup, school notebooks. The teen swarmed her with shy thank yous. Jack's breath fogged the glass. Grace wasn't sneaking into trouble, she was running a covert lifeline for kids who clearly had none. His phone vibrated. Emma texting a gif of Saturn, asking if Dad Grace were coming back for hot chocolate. He typed a quick promise and kept watching. At the far wall, a huddled figure caught his eye. Trevor Malone, one of Jack's own 6th graders, missing from class all week. The boy's hoodie drooped over frightened eyes. Jack's chest tightened. 4A Sense Confrontation. Unable to stay hidden, Jack knocked on the service door. The room froze. Grace opened it, surprise washing over her delicate features. Then worry. Mr. Morgana, why a broken bar? Jack raised open palms. I followed because I was worried. Now I'm a broken bar, speechless. He knelt to Trevor's level. Your grandma's been calling the school. Trevor's voice cracked. She's in the hospital again. They said foster care if no guardian signs papers. Yeah, I ran. Grace placed a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. We'll figure it out. She turned to Jack. These kids rotate between shelters, streets, couches. Motel manager lets us use this room, off the books. I clean houses by day, bring supplies by night. She shrugged, as if describing grocery errands. Jack's mind spun. Lesson plans, Emma's bedtime, mandatory reporter laws, the icy wind outside. Finally he exhaled. How can I help? 5A Sense Complication Twist Number 2. Help arrived sooner than expected. In flashing red and blue, a police cruiser swung into the lot. Someone had reported a prowler, Jack himself, skulking. Panic rippled through the teens. If authorities separated them tonight, Trevor would land in the system, others back to unsafe homes. Grace clenched her toe. There's a back exit through laundry, but it's blocked by pallets. Jack's brain fired teacher mode triage. Okay, Grace, take the kids out that door, I'll talk to the officers. She hesitated. They might arrest you for trespassing. He forced a grin. I'm a parent and a teacher, getting in trouble for kids is in the contract. 6A Sense Emotional Climax. Grace ushered 10 frightened teenagers through the laundry hall. Jack stepped into the lot just as Officer Motel approached. Evening, "Sir." Motel staff said someone was lurking. Jack adopted his calm classroom tone. "I'm Jack Morgan, local teacher. I'm here checking on a student, Trevor Malone. His grandmother's hospitalized. I'll be driving him to social services in the morning." "Everything's safe?" Patel narrowed his eyes. "You running an unlicensed shelter?" Jack's pulse raced. "Tell the full truth and risk shutdown or protect the fragile refuge Grace built." He chose a third path. "Officer, these are simply kids waiting for rides." He nodded toward the open road. "The only crime here tonight would be leaving them in the cold." Patel studied Jack, a father with juice-stained shirt, kindness spilling through exhaustion. After a beat he sighed. "Get them home safe. I'll log it as a welfare check." As the cruiser rolled away, Grace and the teens emerged from darkness. She mouthed "thank you," eyes shining with tears she'd refused to shed earlier. Jack's own throat thickened. He'd never seen heroism so quiet or courage so contagious. 7 cents falling action. Back at the motel room, relief turned to logistics. Jack phoned Emma, explaining they'd be late but promising an apricot chocolate story. She insisted on keeping the marshmallows ready. Grace outlined quick needs: toothbrushes, phone chargers, a safe adult contact for each teen by morning. Jack dialed colleagues, church volunteers, even his principal, of people he trusted, to wake at midnight for Compassion's call. Within an hour, 3 vans arrived bearing blankets and smiling faces. Grace watched, stunned, as strangers addressed the teens by name, praising their bravery, scheduling doctor visits, contacting relatives. Her underground effort was suddenly crowdsourced kindness. Trevor squeezed Jack's hand. "Do I still have to do Friday's science quiz?" Jack laughed, tears finally escaping. "Absolutely. But I'll tutor you myself." 8 cents resolution uplift. By dawn the motel room was empty because every teen now had a legitimate bed, a plan, and a circle of adults on speed dial. Grace stood in the parking lot, sun peeking over highway billboards, shoulders sagging with bittersweet fatigue. Jack handed her a thermos Emma had insisted he take. "Double chocolate, family recipe." Grace accepted it wordlessly. Emotion made speech impossible. Finally she whispered, "I never meant anyone to find out." "That was the only flaw," Jack replied. "Kindness isn't a secret to hide, it's a story to multiply." He offered her a part-time role at his school's after-hours program, paid, with resources, background checks handled. Grace's eyes widened. "But I'm just a maid." "You're a lifeline," he corrected. The title was always too small. 9 cents epilogue. 3 months later, a community center opened beside the Bayside Motel, Room 27 Outreach Hub, named for the storage space that became a sanctuary. Grace runs evening services. Jack chairs the board officer. Patel volunteers at self-defense classes. Emma and Trevor co-lead a kids coding club. And yes, he aced the makeup quiz. A Vancouver newspaper picks up the tale, headlining, "Single Dad Follows Maid Finds a Village." The article trends across the U.S., UK, and Canada, inspiring readers to notice the invisible helpers in their own towns. Donations flood, and motel owner Mr. Basha repaints his Signano vacancy for hopelessness bloomed in vibrant teal. One rainy Thursday, Jack catches Grace watching volunteers load pantry shelves. Tears glimmer again, but this time they fall freely. "I used to think quiet was my shield," she says. "Turns out, sharing the noise makes the song." Jack smiles, thinking of Emma's planets, of a juice stain he never scrubbed out, of how following a hunch through stormy streets revealed constellations of humanity he'd overlooked.